M-O on THEMOSHOW Chicago. And we are back again, this time on another LIVE in the burbs of the city, of course. But I tell you, a lot of things are going on in the city, like missing girls, missing women, robbery, murders, carjackings, all of that good stuff. Yeah, we're just hanging out on the river right now, as you can see, just on the river, not downtown at the lakefront or nothing like that. But I tell you, it is crazy everywhere that you go. Everywhere that you go. Especially here in Chicago. I tell you, if you're not outside getting yourself some sun right now, shame on you. But you should be getting some, despite the dangers that we face every day in this concrete jungle here in the big, windy city. Prime example of that would be like you have the young woman, 25 years old, found dead, unresponsive, over there on 80th and Campbell, out south. But not only did she die, it was a 1-year-old baby whose life transpired as well. Or shall I say, expired. Because they're dead. They're still investigating the matter. They haven't given any indication of what caused the murder, how she died. There was no gunshot wounds. There was no stab wounds. She was just found unresponsive, just like the baby. Could that be poison? I'm just saying, I don't know. But we hanging out here, giving you all the news that's going on in Chicago and worldwide. More murder in Chicago. 25-year-old man found inside of a shuttered school over here on 81st and May. Yeah, y'all know about that. 81st and May. Dead. Now, initially they had to report the backstory. They first said that he committed suicide because he fell from a certain level of height. But upon further autopsy, they found that the man had a self-inflicted gunshot wound and say that he committed suicide. 25 years old. But he was a laborer. He was working there. He was there doing something, but yet and still, they come up with 2 or 3 stories. Just like they came up with 2 or 3 stories with Crystal Rivera, the Chicago police officer that was shot and killed over there on 82nd and Drexel. Why do they keep changing the story? Is it because of further developments, or they just did it right in the first place, okay? They didn't get the information right in the first place, which sends content creators, news reporters, and journalists on a chase to further update their stories, okay? More violence in Chicago. West side of Chicago. 2 people shot, but they're not dead. Over here on Holman and Walnut. Yeah, and a block away right off of Lake Street in Holman, someone else was shot in the alley there. Yeah, years ago, hell, I used to stomp around that place. Yeah, over there by them Black Souls, Jack Bobo. Back in the day, it was going down on Holman and Walnut. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Garfield Park right there. You go on Lake Street right there, between St. Louis and Holman. Go have you some drinks. Go play you some chess. Hang out with the elders, so to say. The motorcycle gang club. All of that good stuff going on. But then if you go further into the park, you may find a little more damaging territory, because people are shooting guns and shooting people here in Garfield Park, Lawndale area. Hell, did somebody just get shot over here on the west side? 200 South Central Street, which is right off of Central and Jackson. Shot the 55-year-old man in his arm while sitting in his car. Wasn't bothering nobody. A white Jeep SUV pulled up and just shot the man. I mean, there's nowhere safe in the city. If you consider yourself somewhere safe in the city, I would have to question your thinking ability. I would have to question you mentally. Maybe you need a mental evaluation, because there's nowhere safe in the city. Like there's nowhere safe in the United States, according to what we see. But we're gonna go on right now. We'll get to that in a minute, about things that's taking place moreover so with the nation. Just like you have another person shot and killed right over here on the 5400 block of South Damon at a liquor store. 69-year-old man got approached with the 50-year-old man. He had one of his homies with him, uncles, nephews, whatever it was. They didn't say in the story, but they were shot and killed coming outside of the liquor store. The 69-year-old man suffered a gunshot wound to the chest, instantly dead. The 51-year-old was taken to the hospital in critical condition. It's a damn shame that we continue to have to deal with this violence, fight ourselves, fight other people, fight the government, fight your boss at your job, fight school teachers, because you're badass kids in school. I'm just saying. But they're out of school right now. They're out of school right now, so you have to deal with your badass kids right now. Y'all know them baby kids y'all be sending to schools. Yeah. Making it hard for teachers, and then coming up to the school talking about, we don't know why that you're saying this about our child, because your child has become demonic. And you know that when you see a child out the door. But we got a lot of demons on the street, and we're going to stick to the story. To all of these murders and shootings in Chicago. Yeah. People getting robbed all day in Chicago. People are on high alert for robberies in Chicago. Lakeview area, Lincoln Park area. You know, that Roscoe Street, right off of Halsted. All of that. Robbery, 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 robbery. No rest for the wicked. So there's no rest for those who try to live in peace. I'm just saying. None whatsoever. How can you get peace in an unpeaceful world? How can you do that? Then you got all of these nosy people. You know what I'm saying? Nosy people want to find out what black people talking about. I'm just saying. But that's what it is in America. Anyway, getting back to the shootings, getting back to the murders and carjackings. Hell, you had somebody else here in Chicago just got shot, what? Over nothing. Stepped on a gym shoe. Crazy. Stepped on a gym shoe. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, pardon me. You just stepped on my shoes. Huh? There's no room for conflict resolution. Just bang bang. Let me give it to you. Just like they're doing all of that bang bang out there in LA. Yeah, the LA riots. According to the reports, Maxine Waters, Democrat representative or congresswoman, one of those politicians, I forget which one. I've been hanging out with Maxine Waters so long in regards to reading her stories, I forget, but I know that she's a Democrat out there in California, and she have begged the governor, the police, the Marines, the National Guard not to shoot. Don't shoot. But hell, ain't nobody got shot yet, but rubber bullets have been fired. Like you had this Australian journalist got shot in the leg. You can see perfectly in the video how the officer pointed the firearm toward her way, that distributed that rubber bullet that hit her in the leg. But also you have protesters that was hit in the head, not the leg, but the head. They were bleeding and everything. But you have all of these protesters that spit on the flag, that calls for the assassination of Trump, that calls for the downing of America, that calls for the destruction of America. I would agree with Donald Trump. Have those 700 Marines deployed to protect local law enforcement and the National Guard. Could you imagine if you had a gang of black people out there in LA protesting the American government, spitting on their flag, burning their flag, torching it with lighter fluid, talking about F Trump, F the US, F ICE? Could you imagine if that was a gang of black people? Could you imagine what would have been done to us at this time? We're not going to talk about the fact in history what they have done to Lake Lanier. We want to talk about how they drowned us to take our land, to kill people unrightfully, unrighteously, like a savage. And we're still dealing with them same people today. Same people we dealt with in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that destroyed Black Wall Street. And who dropped the bombs on Black Wall Street? The government. So seeing that you have this uprising in LA with the government, and you have all of these immigrants that's out there, and some foolish American people out there that's riding with the immigrants talking about defend the immigrants when they can barely defend their own rights that they have here in this country. How can immigrants have rights in a country that they're not even registered or even the citizens of? Go back to where you belong to and do the same thing that you're doing here and see what happens to you. Donald Trump should have deployed those Marines. He should have deployed the National Guards. And yes, further action should have taken place to remove these vagabonds, these disruptors of peace, these people who wants to come inside of someone else's country and say what they should do, what they can do, what they not gonna do, what they not gonna stand for. Had it been some Black Panthers, had it been Nation of Islam, had it been a Pan-African movement, it would have been a whole totally different situation. And what's sad about it, like I said, you have Americans defending these immigrants. Now we understand the power with Trump. We understand his screwed up policies and everything. We understand the removal of DEI and how he's just a straight racist, mind camp kind of guy. But that's okay with the American system as long as it's protecting them. But right now, white Americans, I feel that their lives are in jeopardy because of what's going down in LA. But it's just not in the streets of LA. Hell, it's at LAX airport. Okay? Disruption, not only there, but in Arizona. You had people down at the Daily Plaza protesting, talking about how they're not going to stand for it and this and that. And sadly, if you've seen the video, you had this Caucasian woman talking about how she's going to defend immigrants' rights. I'm just saying, it's outrageous in this country. Do you think that Donald Trump should give the order of just wiping out those protesters? Now, if you are an American citizen, you out there protesting with the immigrants, well, you get what you got coming to you. Because you shouldn't be out there in the first place talking about some rights of some immigrants when you're fighting for your own rights or rights that you don't have here already. They done took everything from you. Everything. But you want to fight for somebody else versus yourself. Like I said, just think if all of those rioters were Black Panthers. Just think if they was from a black nationalist movement. Could you imagine what would have happened to them by now? No mercy would have been spared. Would you have seen Maxine Waters out there talking about don't shoot, don't shoot? Would you had the governor, Mr. Newsom, out there talking about how he's going to sue Donald Trump? Huh? Remember, the governor, Newsom, did not ask for the help of Donald Trump, but seeing that Donald Trump is in control of the United States of America, he really don't need your approval when he sees some action that's happening that you're really not taking care of, and law enforcement is not able or capable of taking care of it. So yeah, he needs to send over some things right now. So right now you have an uprising in LA, but not only is it in LA, like I said, they had an uprising right there in Phoenix, Arizona the other day. Yeah. Cities all across the country, big cities, where you have what they call the big melting pot of America. You have people everywhere protesting. Protesting for what? For the rights of other people who are not even legal in this country? Like I said, the U.S. government spared no mercy on us. None whatsoever. And we were considered American citizens, according to the Constitution. According to our blood, sweat, and tears in the country. Yeah. Nosy man moved right on along, okay? Nosy man moved right on along. It amazes me how white people want to sit by you and jump right into your video when you're talking about issues that ain't got nothing to do with them, but it does, but you're not talking to them. They just want to be nosy in your conversation to see what you're talking about. Nosy ass people. I'm on the airplane reading a book. They want to know what I'm reading about. Ain't none of your damn business what I'm reading about. How about we have some business about how we're going to correct the racism in the country? How about how we're going to get some type of impeachment going on? How are we going to talk about reversal of policies in this country that sending this country to HE double hockey sticks? I'm just saying, let's talk about that versus being interested in what I'm reading or what I'm talking about. Nosy people. Y'all know I'm not lying, and they know I'm not lying. They some nosy ass people, okay? So anyway, now that we got the nosy people out the way, we're going to continue on with this. What do you all think? Do you think Donald Trump should use gun force? Yeah. To shoot these people? Do you think that he should just arrest them all? Because he can do that. All of this can be done within a zap of an eye if Donald Trump really pushes the green light. If he really pushes the green light, it can be done and over with in an hour. If you can defend a whole country with a military, you can swallow up a town with military and law enforcement to have people arrested and everything if you really wanted to. Like I say, they didn't have no mercy on us. And we built this place. But the disgrace and the dishonor that they show not only to the citizens of America, but to the policies on which they are trying to live in, because they're trying to live in America. But if you're not satisfied with what's going on in America, go back to your own country. Venezuela, Mexico, Panama, Colombia, Brazil, wherever you from, and you're an immigrant, you don't like it here, take yourself home and protest against the government over there. Don't come over here looking for no free food, no free housing, none of that. You could have stayed where you was at and doing exactly what you're doing, which is acting a fool with some people, with the government that is helped took care of you all for a while, but now they're trying to send you back and you don't want to go. If it's so bad here and you want to burn flags and you want to disgrace the American people and the policies of America, maybe you should take your ass home where you belong. What do you think about that, immigrants? I'm just saying, for all of the people who have fought and died in wars for this country, all of this is a slap in the face of them. People who pay their taxes in this country, it's a slap in the face of them. People who have looked to future endeavors with their families that are citizens. I'm not talking about those who just got here over the boat, or who jumped over the wall, who climbed over the fence, who went underground. We're not talking about them people. We're talking about people who have shed blood, sweat, all day, every day, whether they've been a slave or working a job. And right now, working a job, depending upon how much you're making, is slavery. I'm just Hey, to the people that's out there in the chat room, I want to welcome you to the THEMOSHOW Chicago LIVE, because you could have been doing something else with someone else at this time, okay? But you decided to stop by to see what we had to say, and we're filling you in on the information that's happening in Chicago, LA, dead bodies, carjacking, robberies, muggings, raping, well, sexual assaults. Sorry about that. Y'all may want to scratch that. That's too quick of a cut. So I don't know what to do about that. I guess you just have to stay up. But what we got out there? Carmine Murray, and Venta. How old are you? Old enough to know. I'm old enough to know right from wrong. I'm old enough to know that that which is happening across the country shouldn't be happening. Meaning unjust laws, unjustful politicians, just a lot of unrighteousness going on here, not only in America, but in the world. You see, I just think that if the world, or people who run the world, become human again, or some people say they never were human, but if you have human consciousness, if you have a heart, if you understand people who not on the top, but understand the people that's on the bottom, I think that the world would be a better place to live. We don't need all of this tyranny. We don't need all of this, I want to be king of this country. We don't need none of that. If the people just live, yeah, you got to have leaders and all that stuff to deal with and make rules and regulations. Yeah, I understand that, import, export, and all of that stuff. But some people say that I live in a utopia world, or my mind is in a utopia world. Maybe because I'm a righteous person, and this world is a prison for righteous people. 100. Maybe I'm just a righteous person. You know? God ain't got nothing to do with it. Because man made God. God did not make man. Man made God.